Hey there, everybody. Welcome to a new This Is Us discussion. Coco Vanderwolf here for the occasion. I don't know
Yes.
why it's that sort of afternoon where she wants some attention.
Yep.
But we're going to try to pay some attention in this video to the subject of, big surprise, Randall and his biological mother, where it feels like every single episode until they finally unveil everything, they're just gonna routinely drive us crazy with these weird ambiguous reveals.
For sure. So today we're going to be talking about sort of some theories of how is Randall going to find out?
It's gonna be a funny thing because, we keep thinking this is gonna be some long lingering mystery. What if This Is Us just unveils it all tomorrow night on
I
episode
know.
4? And then what are we gonna be left to rack our brains over?
They will give us another mystery.
We will break down a lot of these theories, but as we do here, if you guys enjoy what we're talking about, give us a like and subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss any other updates on This Is Us, because we've got a lot coming.
And if you want to know more about us and This Is Us, we have some new pictures up on our Instagram of Coco and just sort of some stuff that we're doing around. So our Instagram is Matt and Jess TV. So go follow us over there.
And as we think about Randall, the thing that's so hard is that, this is a show about family. It's a show about the people you care about, and he obviously cares about his past, and it's something that is sort of racking his brain. And the hardest thing about this whole storyline now with his biological mom is just that there's no so obvious answer where he's gonna wake up and have an epiphany. There's no starting point. I don't know where he starts.
I find it kind of interesting that he never in 40 years even wanted to look up, did she have any sisters? Any cousins? Anybody? Even my mom and my Aunt Suzanne right now are on Ancestry.com looking up all the family tree and how far back it goes and who is where and all that sort of stuff. There's just an interest in general in that type of stuff. And I would imagine for Randall, who finally got to meet his dad and stuff like that, even though his mom has passed away and that's what he thinks, that there wouldn't be some sort of interest to be like, well, maybe she had a sister, maybe I have an aunt, who knows, maybe her parents are still alive and I have grandparents.
The answer that I have is a very TV answer, which is just that if Randall did all this, which you are correct, logically this is something he probably would have done or thought about, it's just not as exciting a show. I think they want to have that epiphany come up where the light bulb goes over his head and it's oh, maybe this is a great idea. Maybe in the This Is Us universe, they've never heard of Ancestry.com until this very year.
Well, I originally last season had thought he was going to sort of come to this on his own because his mom has Alzheimer's and he was going to lose her. And he was saying, oh, I've already lost, 2 dads and a mom. I can't lose you as well. And he's putting all this pressure on her to go into that, therapy thing, that a trial clinic thing, that I thought he might be like, you know what? I have lost 3 of my parents. I could be losing my mom sometime soon too. So maybe I will dip into sort of the background of who else is in my mom's timeline here.
And I don't know if it would have been different if there was a situation that went down where, the virus wasn't into the show. Maybe some things get worked around a little bit differently. It's hard to predict, but I think the prevailing theory that's out there as to how Randall's going to start looking for his mom, and this one, it makes sense. And it's not that the therapist is related to him. It's not that. It's that the therapist suggests that he looks into it.
Yeah, and he's been having a real struggle with sort of his identity and who he is, and that does start to get into when you want to look a little bit deeper into your family history and stuff like that. But the idea that his therapist is going to suggest it feels like the most realistic way that this could all come about. If this is what Randall is struggling with, then this seems like a natural progression for the therapist to kind of be like, hey, maybe you might want to see this, expand out, see who else is part of your life.
there's only a select pool of people who I think could bring about this suggestion, because I think, as we've sort of alluded to in this video already, if Randall was going to come about this on his own, he probably would have done so in the first 40 years or so of his life. So I think someone has to push him. Therapist makes the most sense because he has that vulnerable sort of relationship. As we move into the ideas that don't make as much sense, but I'm throwing them out there anyway.
Yep.
Malik has a big role to play in
Yeah.
tomorrow's episode. He's going to be like doing some work with Randall professionally. Maybe Malik gets a little bit nosy. Maybe Malik starts asking a lot of questions. Maybe he thinks that he can, be a boyfriend to Deja and also be a friend to Randall. Like, I don't know why it would go there, but the actor, Sonny Polack, who plays Malik,
Yep.
he's a rising star. I feel like if they were going to keep him on the show, they got to give him some good material, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it's not that far-fetched that Malik might say something. We did have that conversation with him and Randall on the staircase where it feels like, Randall has opened up to him a little bit. And I know he made that joke of, either you could be a boyfriend to my daughter, you could be my best friend. So, boyfriend to my daughter kind of thing is where you're going with that. But if they are going to be sort of not necessarily working together, but it seems like Malik's going to be maybe shadowing him at work or sort of learning what he does, or, maybe interning, something that's going to be going on with that, their relationship is inevitably going to open up a little bit.
Do you want to hear my craziest Malik theory on This Is Us? I came up with this last week when I first saw the synopsis that Malik was going to shadow Randall at his job. In the future, down the road, President Malik, it's gonna happen where Malik's getting in on the ground floor when it comes to politics. He's gonna learn from Randall, who I have said for a long time, maybe a congressman or something in the future.
Yeah.
This is probably not happening, but we're all among friends. We can share our
That's
crazy
right.
theories, right?
Yep.
So yeah, we talked a little bit about your Ancestry.com idea.
Yeah, I feel like there's only a few ways that Randall's going to be able to sort of go about this. That someone is probably going to suggest to him to maybe look into the rest of his family, into his mom's side of the family. And Ancestry.com, and those types of websites where, you can submit your DNA, or you can go through and look for last name and where the tree branches out and all that sort of good stuff, that he would probably go straight to that. And maybe Deja would help him, or Tess would help him, who's maybe even a little more savvy than he is on the computer. But another way he could go about is he could just hire a private investigator, that if he's a really busy guy, which he is, he's got 3 daughters, a wife, and a job, that maybe he'd just go to a private investigator and be like, listen, this is what I'm trying to find out. If you can find anything out for me of maybe some kind of relative, let me know, and then I'll take it from there.
I think it's a definite possibility. I could even see him doing both. Like, I could see him maybe doing an Ancestry.com or something and getting some answers, but then, and trying to track down some of these people. Maybe he enlists the help of a private investigator or something like that. I had thought about the idea of, okay, maybe he is just going to, start going back to where William was, and maybe knocking on some doors and asking some people who were close to William. But I'm kind of backtracking on that idea right now, because it's I don't know if I would go around and knock on people's doors in a pandemic. I don't think that that's necessarily the best of ideas.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's going to do it. He's been pretty good with that, and the show has been pretty good with that. And maybe he finds evidence in William's stuff that she's alive. There is the theory that William knew that she was alive and then just kept it from Randall. But man, that's a real dark timeline, and we've already kind of seen that storyline play out with Rebecca not telling Randall about William and that she knew where he was all that time. So we've already seen that story, and I know that William is not with us anymore, so Randall doesn't have anyone to get mad at if he finds that out, but it takes away a lot of that relationship and how it grew, and their road trip and all, living with them and going through cancer and everything that happened, that it was like this huge lie this entire time. I know that he has a lot of devastating things that happen to him, Randall, but that is a crazy betrayal.
I'm not really a big fan in general of shows that decide that they want to start like besmirching characters after they are dead. Like I had a lot of fears with this in Station 19 recently. I won't spoil anything in this video, but we had something kind of similar with Jack and Nikki where I was really, really worried that they were going to make Jack out to be, oh, you know, Jack's been lying to all these people all this time, but they found a way to, I think, do it without besmirching Jack. And I think there's a way that this could all have happened in the past where either William did not know she was around or there was a legitimately good reason why he didn't say something. And it's still hard to reconcile that, but, you know, we don't know what that reason would be yet.
Well, it's also possible that Laurel is dead now as well. So it's possible that William knew she was alive, but he also knows that she died. So when he ended up talking more with Randall about it and being like, yeah, your mom is dead, you know, he's not being as clear as to, well, when did that happen? Did it happen at this drug overdose or did it happen later on? If she's gone, she's gone.
It's a good point, because if she had been alive for, let's just say hypothetically she lived until Randall was like 15 or 16, that would be really hard for Randall to digest the idea that his mom was actually out there and he never had an opportunity to spend time with her, and that could only sow, you know, more resentment, more pain, and maybe William just was trying to make it easier on him in that way, I guess.
Yeah.
The only other thing, this is really, I don't know how this would work, but you know, Randall, he's got a position of some political power. He's got some resources. I don't know if he can make these resources work for him. I don't know if he could go and make Malik knock on some doors if Malik is like working under him.
Nobody knock on any doors.
No. Stay safe.
But maybe there is a photo out there of Malik on the phone, sort of with his mouth open. I don't know if he's surprised or he's bored or whatever's going on. It's hard to read
Maybe
into a
yawning.
photo. He's yawning. But he's on the phone. So, I mean, maybe it's possible that Randall is sort of leaning in on a lead, and because Malik is at work with him, that he's like, hey, call this person or some of my contacts to see if you can find out anything for me.
Here is what I do predict. I think we are going to learn something in this upcoming episode, whether it be where Laurel is she dead, in the present, maybe Randall will find out that she was at least at one point alive. I think we're going to step closer. The creators already said this is not going to be something they're going to like drag out for the rest of the series.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that they're not. I mean, the show is pretty good at wrapping stuff up in a fairly good order. They don't really like hang on to one mystery for 8 seasons. I'm looking at you, Blacklist. They do find a good way to wrap it up. I just kid. I love Blacklist, but they can wrap that up too.
Well, let's get your guys' theories on this. What do you think about the idea of how Randall's going to find out the news about his mom? Where do you think this is coming about? Let us know in the comments. Come back soon. We will have a full discussion about episode 4. And if you do like this video, subscribe, give us a like, support us further, check the links to the store, our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.